It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you are in a little bit of hurt. So how do you get full visibility and adapt in real time? Over 42,000 businesses trust NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for a reason. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. Real-time forecasting helps you move into the future with confidence, and with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook.
When I started selling my own products, that is when it all changed. Was like I hit a button and money happens. Like it just does. And that is really hard to see when you're only doing affiliate marketing or you're only doing banner ads. It doesn't really hit until you go, oh, right, I have a product to sell and I have an email list full of people who actually could use this product. Let me tell them about it without even really being all that salesy, and they buy it.
Today, we have a really fun episode with a previous guest on the show who I invited back because his tweets hurt me in like the best kind of way. Because when I read his tweets, they were so like on point that they made me realize I was making some mistakes and, you know, I had flashbacks of the past and all that stuff. And I wanted to bring this to light today to make sure that you don't make these same mistakes that we're going to talk about today. I'm talking about none other than Matt Giovanisci way back in episode 595. We brought him on. He is a perfect example of somebody who has riches in the niches. In fact, his website at Swim University helps people with pools. And I actually found him during the pandemic because I needed help with pools. Now, I knew about him earlier from FinCon and some other days. He's also a very creative artist and rapper. But today we're talking about his tweets because his words are on point, and we're going to go by line, actually, some of the tweets that he shared that I wanted to bring up and get his take on it. Why did he say that? There's got to be something deeper there, or what does that actually mean? So we're going to go tweet by tweet with Matt Giovanisci. You can find him again back in the previous episode, 595, Swim University, and Matt Giovanisci on Twitter. Anyway, let's have some fun, and here he is, Matt Giovanisci.
You're listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, a proud member of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network, a show that's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. His home office, which once looked like a sophisticated adult office, is now filled with Pokemon products everywhere. Pat Flynn.
Running a business means legal questions are inevitable. Is this contract or agreement solid? What can I do if a client won't pay me? Am I set up properly for taxes? Well, rather than trying to navigate all of this on your own or searching endlessly online, imagine having a law firm on your side without the high hourly rates. That's exactly what Legal Shield's small business plans offer. With Legal Shield, entrepreneurs get access to real legal support, contract reviews, collection letters, guidance on business formation, and even help handling IRS audits. Members can book consultations, upload documents through the app, and work with a provider law firm that understands small business laws in your state. You also get proactive help on tax and trademark questions so you can stay ahead of legal risks. And if a client delays payment, Legal Shield can send professional collection letters to help you recover what you're owed, all for a fraction of what traditional attorneys charge. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI. Do you know the secret to businesses that are scaling faster than ever? They're using Upwork to tap into a diverse pool of skilled freelancers across various industries. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts who are ready to help you take your business to the next level. I've personally used Upwork myself and can vouch for it. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help you grow your business. That's Upwork.com. Again, Upwork.com. Matt, welcome back to the Smart Passive Income Podcast. Thanks for taking the time.
No, thanks for having me again.
You know, you were on fairly recently, like about 100 episodes ago, and often we wait several more episodes till a person comes back, but I wanted to bring you on because I got to say, you have one of my favorite Twitter profiles out there, and I recommend everybody go follow it first, number one.
Wow, thank you.
And the reason I say that is because some of your tweets hit hard. Like sometimes they hurt.
Yeah.
Because they're just honest truths about being an entrepreneur and being a business owner. And so the plan for today is to have me read some of them out, and then we can just jam on them. And I want to hear, like, where did this come from? There's got to be a story behind them or something. And I think we'll have a good time.
Okay. Yeah.
Before that, in case anybody doesn't know who you are, give me the 1 minute rundown, 1 or 2 minute rundown of who you are. And, you know, I'll have everybody listen to that episode 595 after this if they want to get like the full story. But tell us what you do and you know, how'd you even get here?
2004, I started a website called swimuniversity.com, and I still own it. And that's my full-time job. And I teach people how to take care of their pools and hot tubs online.
When you were back on at 595, that was very much a riches are in the niches situation, right? And I know those are kind of some of the things you talk about, which leads me to our first tweet here, in fact, which is, and this was a pretty recent one, it says, "You're probably doing too many things right now." And I'm curious, like, where this came from. Does this speak to something that you have found yourself doing too many things? And like, why share this?
Okay. This has a story, and it's a relevant, recent story.
I thought it did.
Yeah. So I hear this advice constantly, and I'm sure you hear it too, which is do one thing in business, do it really well, do it for a long period of time, and you'll win, right? Do not chase shiny objects, all of that kind of stuff. And I always heard that and thought, yes, I agree 100%. That's why I only have Ace Media, my one business, which is technically an umbrella company for like 3 brands. So I don't really have one thing. I have 3 things, right? And all 3 of those things do different things. So like I have a media company by, you know, I guess a very loose standard. And so I was like, yeah, I do one thing. I don't do one thing. I do lots of different things, and they're all over the place. And recently I've decided to cut 2 of them off and just focus on Swim University, which has been my bread and butter since really full time since 2011. And I've always sort of kept it at arm's length. You know, I'm like, oh, this thing makes the most money and pays for my entire, you know, living and hobbies and life and all of that stuff. But like, that's my day job, and I don't really want to work on that all the time. So I'm going to go do these other fun things, you know, which are like playing business. You know, they're not bringing in like the good money. And so this was something that I have been telling myself and decided this year in 2023, as I approach 40 years old, I'm going to be married this year.
Congrats.
And I'm like, new chapter, pare down, focus on one thing, do it better than everybody else for the rest of your life, unless you sell at some point, which that's another bridge we'll cross when I get to it, if I ever get to it. And so I needed to hear that. And so I figured at that point, with zero context, someone else needed to hear it.
It's funny because I had just sunset my long-lasting podcast, Ask Pat.
Yeah.
Which is why this is relevant on my mind too. And it's so funny because I got a lot of private messages that were like, Pat, you're so brave for closing that show down. I'm like, I was so not dumb for keeping it for so long, but like you, it was like, is that where my time is best leveraged? And it wasn't. And so, I'm grateful for the show. I'm thankful. I'm sure you're thankful for the experiences you had in those other businesses.
Oh, for sure.
Pruning down so that you can double down on the other things that are working or that are generating revenue and also you have fun with is really important. If you could provide a filter for yourself for the future, Matt, as far as other shiny objects that might come your way, what might that be?
Local only. That would be the thing that I'm saying to myself today, which is I've been on the internet as an online business owner for so long. And I've always been behind the scenes with Swim University. Like, yeah, my face was on camera. Yes, I'm on all the thumbnails. Like, it's there. But I started these other businesses because I wanted people to know that I existed, just on the internet, instead of just being this behind the scenes person. Because back then, when I was living in New Jersey at the time, I didn't have anybody else in my world, local or online, that did what I did. Over the last 10, 15 years, I've built up an online community of like friends, and I'm putting that in air quotes because like they're not hanging out in my brewery. They're not here. So it's like it feels very different. And so my filter going forward for business is local only, meaning you cannot start another online business. You have one. It's very big. It's very good. It's taken care of. It is taking care of your lifestyle. If you want to get into more business, it has to be physical and local. And that would be my filter.
I like that. And everybody's filter is going to be different. I think it's just important to, have one. That's great. Another tweet that you recently shared that I'm very curious about is what you call the most underrated business book I've ever read. Jim Henson, the biography. The biggest lesson for me was to own everything, your name, your business, your platform, your products, own it all. Tell me more.
I've been in lots of partnerships that did not work out, good or bad, not saying that they were bad decisions, not saying they were bad setups, not saying the people I were partnering with were bad people. They just didn't work for me. And I think perhaps it was because I'm more of a control I like the control and I like the ownership of being able to make a decision, even if that decision is, I don't want to do anything today. Like I'm just not feeling it today. And having another person in my life who is like a partner in a business, their money and livelihood depends on my work ethic and vice versa. That doesn't work for me because of either two things that'll happen. One is that I will outwork them, which is, not always the case, but I have very good work ethic. I've always had since I was a kid. And so like resentment comes with that. And when I don't outwork them and they outwork me, I start to feel, again, nothing to do with them. I start to feel like I'm not pulling my weight. And so that gives me stress. And so does the other thing. And so I realized that just who I am as a person, I'm just not good in partnerships. Doesn't mean I can't work as a team with people. I definitely can do that. I just can't share the feeling of ownership when there's actual money and stakes on the table. I can relinquish control to a team,
right?
That, like right now, my business is family owned, meaning it's me, my fiance, and my brother. That's it. And we act as a team. I am not in charge of anyone. They're not in charge of me. We all kind of work independently, and that's great. But we've set those expectations, but I am truly the only owner. And so at the end of the day, it all hinges on me, and it's my responsibility to keep the company afloat, and I prefer it that way.
Got it. And I'm sure in that biography, there's some stories about Jim making decisions or maybe making very poor decisions.
No, not making poor decisions, making all the right decisions from the get. Yeah. So he had this thing of like owning the Muppets, just like he owns the Muppets. He will license you the Muppets, like he licensed Sesame Street, but he had creative control over what Sesame Street did with those because he licensed them. Same with when they did the cartoon version of the Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not Muppets. That's cartoons. It's a totally different thing. And so he worked, if I remember, it's a long time since I've read it, but like that was a tough position for him because it was relinquishing control and making sure that the product of the Muppets remained, to his standards. And that's the other thing too, is like, I hold myself to such high standards in whatever I create, whether it's in my, just like, a beer that I make or anything that I make online. And so I want everyone to be held to that same standard. And it's hard to control that when you like say, oh, I don't own half of this, so I don't really care about half of this. And I've done that and in and out. And that particular book always resonated with me of like, yeah, I want to be Jim Henson. I want to own the whatever the Muppet version is of like Swim University, I guess.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it was just this weird lesson that came from this book that has like nothing really to do with business. There's a little bit of business kind of in the beginning. And then there's like obviously like decision points in the business throughout. But it was all about like Jim Henson is the owner of the Muppets. He never partnered. He never relinquished control because it was all about like his creativity and how he wanted the Muppets to be, presented to the world in his vision.
Yeah, for an artist, that's got to be really, really important. But I mean, we business owners are artists in a way as well, with our brand and our name on things, our face out there, relinquishing. I mean, I've seen it before. Businesses who have relinquished a little bit of control, they almost are now puppets in the situation, or Muppets. Anyway, didn't mean to go there, but
jumping off of that too, it's like, personally, I've always considered myself artistic. I would, I've always been a creative and a business person second. And the same with Jim Henson, which was like, he did Muppets first and then was like, I have to figure out the business of Muppets. And so that's, how I've always considered myself, because I used to want to be a full-time musician, and my dad is a musician. And he always used to tell me that musicians make terrible business owners or business people. And I hated that saying. And I worked so hard to not be the, struggling, starving artist and learned business, and then just fully went into business and gave up, music. But I still can have that like artist creator mindset,
Right. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Yes, Jay-Z. Speaking of raps, I remember some of your raps from FinCon. Genius. So good. And you are a great artist.
Thank you.
This next tweet I really enjoyed because it's something I tout all the time. And so I just want to double down on it. And this is your tweet. My email list is an ATM. When I need cash, I send an email. Took me 15 years to realize two things. One, content is king. Two, email is God. Tell me how you really feel about email.
Yeah. Wow. I've always struggled with email marketing. I don't know why. It is content.
15 years is a long time.
Yeah, it is content. It's just, I think in the same way that social media, it feels like it doesn't feel evergreen sometimes. You're just like kind of putting something out and then you don't know if you can reuse it or anything like that. And I've always looked at content creation as like, I don't want to make magazines. I want to make novels, if that makes any sense. It's like a magazine you just kind of throw away and they have to rewrite it. And it's usually sometimes the same articles that come over and over again. And email kind of felt that way to me. And, just the tech side of email and the fear. And to this day, the fear of hitting send, like yesterday I sent an email to 100,000 people. And it's still like, did I mess something up? Because it's like, I can't change it once it goes out. But yeah, I've always struggled with email. And then when I started selling my own products, that is when it all changed. Was like, I hit a button and money happens. Like it just does. And that is really hard to see when you're only doing affiliate marketing, or you're only doing banner ads, or you're only doing this sort of more, I guess we can call it passive income or passive monetization techniques. It doesn't really hit until you go, oh, right, I have a product to sell and I have an email list full of people who actually could use this product. Let me tell them about it without even really being all that salesy. and they buy it. And I thought, after a while that, that burns out over time, right? And it does. But if you keep collecting people and, you have new things to sell, or you improve the old things, which is even better, or you sell the same thing over and over again, which is something new to me, which is like in the course world, it's really hard to sell a course over and over again, but it's really easy to sell, I'm trying to pick something up, a bottle or something that like is a consumable. So that's a new world for me.
Chlorine.
Yeah, chlorine or like just looking at like weird things. I have like chapstick and sunglass stuff, and I have some hop water here.
Yeah, protein powder.
Yeah, like things that are, and I get an email, and this is no joke. I looked at this yesterday, and totally fear. I bought a Traeger last year, a Traeger, electric smoker, right? Every single day they send me an email. And it's not content. It's not like, here's a recipe, here's a, tip. No, it is sales pitch, sales pitch, sales pitch every single day. And guess what? I open up every one of them, mainly because I'm probably a marketer, but also like, I'm like, oh, why am I so afraid to send an email pitching something that like people actually need? And, sometimes I open those emails and I'm like, I kind of want that barbecue sauce, or like, I kind of want that like grill brush,
I mean, you expect those emails, right? Like they're not, I think that's the big difference, right? A lot of us marketers, like we say like, join the free email newsletter, we'll send you tips. And then when we sell something, that's not what people subscribe for, right? Versus you sign up for Traeger's list knowing that, you're going to get all the different kind of wood chips and all the different kinds of barbecue sauces and stuff. And so for your email list,
you don't even opt in, you buy the thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I might have checked the box or something, but like, I had a tweet that was a poll, and I asked like, how often do you send emails, or how often do you think it's okay to send emails to your list? And like overwhelmingly once a week. So in the month of May, I'm challenging that. I'm doing a Traeger move. I'm sending an email every single day. Helpful pitch, helpful pitch, helpful pitch. And, sometimes helpful and pitch together, like if you're constantly helpful and you're constantly delivering value, which again, like is one of those words, but value could be, I have a product that you need. Will you buy it? You should buy it. That's value sometimes,
How are you getting people on your list?
I have a bunch of places that all basically sell the same opt-in, which is a pool care cheat sheet.
Nice.
And so on YouTube, on TikToks, on Instagrams, on our website, 3 places, pop-ups, like the whole, anywhere I can get you, I'm going to get you.
Of the social media platforms, which one's working out best for that purpose?
YouTube count?
YouTube. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I was going to say none because Instagram, maybe not really.
Not really. When I think of you as a YouTuber, right? As far as your primary platform. And I've just like in the pandemic, I mentioned this in the last episode, like that's how I like was reminded that you did pool stuff, because we had bought an above ground pool and it started turning green. And I was like, need help, go to YouTube. Oh snap, it's Matt. I didn't even know. It was great. Next tweet. Lip syncing is not content. Why do you say that?
Oh man. This one really ticks me off. I still get mad about
What do you mean by lip syncing?
Are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok. Yeah.
Do you consume it?
I am. I used to consume way too much of it.
I understand. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
not anymore.
I understand. TikTok and Instagram, this is really bad. I see this a lot. I don't see this really on shorts, but I've seen this a lot in pool and homebrewing content, unfortunately, where the content, right, is memeing, I guess, right? And I have another tweet that's like, memes are not content either. Like, write your own jokes, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing where they're taking a joke, which is an audio clip from a movie or television show, and they're selling their brand, and they're just lip syncing the thing, but they're not, it's nothing. It's just, you're stealing IP from someone else.
Essentially what it is, yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? Because I'm not entertained by it. It's the same thing. So like, I see it a lot in beer, unfortunately, which is like most of my Instagram, like most of the things that I consume in life are beer related, because that's my hobby. If I haven't made that very clear in this conversation, And I just see breweries do this. I see home brewing content do this. And it makes me like question, like, how is this a net positive for anyone? The thing is, it's like, obviously they keep doing it because their numbers are going up, right? I would imagine they wouldn't do it if they weren't.
I mean, that's the sad part about this is people watch these things, right? What is it doing?
What's the
for
action
you?
they're taking though? Like, it's not that I laugh at it. I go, wait, well, the whole time I'm going, well, where's that from? Like, I want to know what that original audio is. And also, why did you spend the time to learn that? And then I learned nothing. I've gained nothing as a viewer besides you just wasted 60 seconds of my time. And I feel the same way about carpool karaoke. So, I mean, that's just my own thing. But
so, for example, like I'm thinking like I'm tapping into my beer thing, pun intended. If there was a video that showed a person who was like on the phone or something and they were holding a tube and the tube like had broke or had leaked and it was like the Liam Neeson sort of quote, like, I will find you or something. And then you look scared at the camera and it's like, you're just using an audio quote. And sure, maybe it makes sense because you're angry at this company that made this tube, but like, okay, so what?
Well, yeah, I keep the one I keep hearing that's not even a lip sync. It's like, I don't even know where it's from, but the audio is, why do you do this? Because I love it. Right? That's it. That's the whole clip. And then it's just showing like people's, like, it would be like me showing my brewery or something, and like, or like me brewing beer and going like, why do you do this? Because I love it. It's like, what is that? How am I any better for watching that? Like, it's nothing. It's I don't know. It's driving me nuts. Even just talking about it.
Yeah. No, this is a perfect conversation. Like I'm trying to play devil's advocate for people who do these kinds of things. So it's like, hey, I did that meme thing and it got seen by, 500,000 people. Like, that's my brand now exposed to 500,000 people. Isn't that a good thing?
You did a video recently talking about shorts, right?
Yeah, I did. I love how you're using my own thing as an argument against my own thing.
And I agree with all of it, with the caveat that, like, obviously we don't all make our money if we're like a real creator that's like got a business behind the creator part of it. If like we're selling a product, for example, like, we don't make our money from the ads, that AdSense or whatever that comes from shorts. Because like, yeah, we do shorts and we make like a couple cents per video. It's insanely small. The thought process is that the way I've always looked at it is it's commercials for the long form.
That's how it should be.
Right? That's how I envision it. Now, here's the thing. Most of what I'm seeing, or like those lip syncing things, they're exclusively only doing those. So what is there after that to absorb or connect with? Like, I mean, you make this argument of like, yes, if you're doing it and it allows you to discover something that you didn't know about, like, oh, this person has an entire business, or this like, I can give the example of like a brewery, right? They do a meme and then like people are exposed to this brewery and it's like, oh, I didn't know this brewery exists. But ultimately, you know nothing about the brewery. Like, all you know is that like there was a girl lip syncing in their tap room. Okay. Now what? Like, it tells no brand story. It gives no context. You kind of have to do your own digging. And I kind of feel like it's not good for business. Like, just getting eyeballs is only good for YouTube or only good for Instagram. It is actually not good for your business. And it's vanity metrics at the end of the day.
It's so true. It's so true. Versus you're telling a story that is still interesting, but it's coming from you and it connects in some way to the viewer.
I mean, if you do meme content every once in a while, totally cool, because then I find your shorts, or they start getting fed to me through the algorithm, and you have educational content, or you have, some other type of entertainment that is valuable and that will actually help your business, in some way. But if it's all 100% meme content, then I'm like, well, I kind of feel like you're doing this for Instagram and not for yourself, or, insert platform name here.
Or you're just doing it to make yourself feel better because you're getting a load of views and that's what's important to you.
Yeah, you get that. This goes back to the vanity metrics. Like, it's, that's something it's really hard, especially for people who are like have not been in this game for a long time. vanity metrics are like still kind of like candy, it's still pretty good. Whereas like at the end of the day, like I know, it doesn't actually feed our, mouths. It doesn't pay the bills. And that's the thing. I think you're seeing a lot of creators. It's going to happen. I say this, I don't want to be a predictor of things, but like, remember Vine, it's like, where did they all go? They all went to YouTube, right? And had friggin' successful careers, like super huge, right? And it's like, what's going to happen with TikTok, whether it gets banned or not, which may not, but like, eventually they're going to go, I don't have anything. Like, you got to take this somewhere else. And then they're forced to do long form and whatever. But I don't know. It's just really the lip syncing thing. It drives me nuts.
No, I love it. That was a great conversation. A couple more tweets here. You had mentioned algorithm. This one mentions the algorithm as well, and I really loved it. It's, if you're nervous around every Google algorithm update, then you're doing something wrong. Why shouldn't we be nervous about Google changing things and then all of a sudden my rankings change overnight? And like, how do we shield ourselves from such dangers?
Align your interests with Google's interests. It's the same with all of these other platforms, right?
Yeah, YouTube. Yep. Mm-hmm.
What do they want? Figure that out. It's not hard, right? And then in the case of Google, for example, what they want to be is correct always, right? So, for example, if you type something into Google, if you have a question or you have something, Google wants to be correct right out of the gate. Them being incorrect, people will lose trust in Google and not use it anymore, right? Which is why ChatGPT scares me so much about like getting fast answers, but that's a whole different conversation in this case. So if your content is correct and well made and unique and has a voice and all of those things, and you're not just regurgitating incorrect information or, just trying to make something quick just to gain rank, then I kind of feel like if you really, really think about the end user, right? If somebody has a question about something, answer it, over deliver, give them everything they need. Google will just reward you for that because it makes them look good, right? SEO and all of the like tactics around, that's what everybody wants to know. They want to know all the tricks. And this has not changed. Like, this has been around for forever, right? And the thing that has never changed, even back then when it was like, just get as many backlinks as possible, fit as much content as you can. It's still about like basically creating the best thing on the internet to answer the question or solve the problem of the searcher. That's all Google cares about because, again, it just makes them look good. So that's just been my MO for, I don't know, since I got dinged in 2008 for doing all the wrong things. And so I was just like, oh, what if I actually sat down and wrote the definitive guide to getting rid of algae in your pool? Like, what if I just actually tried? And of course, I tried, and I've never lost a ranking in like 20 years. It's like, because even if somebody comes in and writes something better, I care more about this is another tweet I've had too, is like, I care more about my thing than you do about yours. And so I will just go, oh, wow, that guy or that person did like a great, had a great answer. I'm going to just one up them, and it could just be like, make a better video, make some interesting graphics that like not everybody can do, maybe build a little mini plugin tool to like help them calculate how much shock they need to kill. It's like, just provide like the best thing and you'll never have to worry because at the end of the day, like, you did exactly what Google wants and it should align with what you want.
That reminds me of Brian Dean's skyscraper technique that he coined. Just see what's out there, build a bigger or better skyscraper. And that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. And a lot of people take that, I feel like, because I get this question constantly. It's like they take it literally, like build a bigger skyscraper. It's like, oh, that person has 1,200 words. I'm going to do 1,400 words. Oh, that person has 25 best, whatever. I'm doing 26 best. It's like, to me, the way I looked at the whole 25 thing, like, all right, say somebody has like 25 best pool cleaners, right? It's like, okay, wow, that's a lot of pool cleaners to pick from.
Yeah.
I'm going to create an article called The Best.
The one, right?
This is the one, right? It solves it's the searcher intent. It solves their problem instantly, right? And that is what Google wants.
Genius. So good. Last one here is, if you can't explain it simply, your marketing message is wrong. And this is something that I know my audience and even I struggle with often, which is just simplifying the message so it can be understood. I think we suffer from the curse of knowledge, which means we know the thing and we don't know what it's like to not know the thing. So communicating with people who don't know the thing can be difficult. What do you do to simplify your message? How do you nail the messaging so well so that you can continually bring new people in and sell more product? What do you do?
Okay, two things. One, ask. Just ask, right? If you have a person that like emails you, like one of your customers, and they're having a problem, just like, what's wrong? Just tell me what's wrong. Okay, and then solve their problem, right? Just one-on-one. Okay, now you've just written an article in your head, right? Because you've solved a problem for somebody, assuming you are the expert knowledge or whatever. Even if you have to Google it, that's fine. Or if you have to do your own research. So once you understand that the problem that you're trying to solve, and that's essentially the message, this works especially well for my audience. I find, and this is like, I would think universal too. In pool care, it's very complicated. There's water chemistry. There's, there's decimals, right? There's acronyms. There's all these things. And I talk in this language all the time. And I kind of assume that everyone else does. People don't know what pH is. It's like that's real. So there's two things that I do. One is I'll write the message out of my head. Like, you have to get it out, right? Write it first. I'll stick it into a few tools. One of those tools is Grammarly. And that is just like, cleaning up the structure of it and making it like just a little bit easier to read. I also stick it in the Hemingway app and then cut sentences, because the one thing that I've learned, or at least how I became a better writer with no college degree and failed every English class in high school, was Hemingway. Just reading Hemingway and being like, oh, I don't have to know or use semicolons. In fact, I barely have to use commas if I don't want to, right? If I just use periods, it's actually better for the reader. I enjoy reading that stuff. Like, there was a book by the 37 Signals guys way back. I think it was called like Getting Started, or I forget what it was, but it was about software design. It was just like, short sentences, boom, boom, boom. And it was like super concise. And it was the easiest read of my life. And I'm like, oh, this is great. But in the most like last few months, the best tool in the world for this is ChatGPT. Because what I'll do is like, I'll write an email and like I have to, it's not even a complex thing I have to explain, but it's like, so we just wrote a book, right? And we're getting it printed. But that book is also available as a PDF, right? And you and I can sit here and go, that makes total sense. I understand the difference. But if you're 80 years old and you have never worked on a pool in your life, but you want it clear for your grandkids, you don't understand the difference between a digital copy and a physical copy. You'll order the digital copy and expect when to get your physical copy. So what I'll do is I'll write the email as if like I'm just talking to you, and then I'll stick it in the ChatGPT and I say, write this at a 3rd grade level. And it just takes it, distills it, and makes it like idiot proof. And then you have to do a little bit of tweaks to it, but like, that's what I think like the best benefit of something like ChatGPT is. It's like, take what I'm thinking and make it better, or make it, it better in this case, or like easier to understand, however you want to look at it.
I have a friend who just wrote a cookbook, but he's never written a cookbook. He doesn't know the structure of cookbooks, but he knows how to like put this in here and you add this to the thing. He put all the things in his own mind on paper into ChatGPT and then said, write this like a cookbook would be. Then it formalized it, made it simple, made it just like you said, like just hear the steps, because we don't know how to do that necessarily. So I love that use case. And it's not like you're telling ChatGPT to write anything for you from scratch. It's coming from you still. It's just simplifying it. And I've never heard that particular use case before for a marketer. Like, that makes total sense to me. And is that the specific prompt? Like, rewrite this email for a 3rd grader?
I say, write this at a 3rd grade level.
At a 3rd grade level. Okay.
Yep. colon, and then paste whatever I wrote.
Yeah.
And then it just goes, it sometimes it sometimes takes it in a more sillier direction. Like for an actual third grader, it'll use language. I'm like, okay, we don't need to go cutesy and like, we don't need to use that kind of language, but that stuff I'll clean up. It's like, but it does, like, especially in, pool care, when I have to explain like what a product does, I'm like, oh, this removes biofilm from the inside of your hot tub plumbing. To me, that sounds completely normal, right? And people are like, one, what's biofilm? Two, what's plumbing, right? It's like, oh, this flushes the gunk from your pipes. Got
Boom.
it,
Done.
Yeah.
Love it. Matt, this is super great, man. Thank you so much for letting me and dissecting your tweets with me. This has been super fun.
It's fun.
Where could people go to learn more about you and check out some of your stuff?
Honestly, if you have a pool or a hot tub, go to swimuniversity.com.
And then your Twitter account is?
Matt Giovanisci, at Matt Giovanisci.
All right, we'll have all the links in the show notes. Bro, this was super fun. Thank you again for being here. And hopefully the audience got some golden nuggets, which I'm sure they did.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, man.
All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. This is $6.99. The Big 700 is coming next, and it's one of our Friday episodes, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that and all the other great guests that we have coming on the show later this year. Thank you to Matt, and thank you for listening all the way through. If you want to check out the previous episode and learn about how Matt became the swim king, the king of swim, the swimmer king. I don't even know if he has a name for himself in that way, but he's just really cool. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was actually a ton of fun to just jam on this stuff because he's got some good tweets. And again, if you want to check him out, Matt Giovanisci on Twitter. If you want to get the show notes and also know how to spell his name, it's at smartpassiveincome.com/session699. Again, smartpassiveincome.com/session699. Thank you again. I appreciate you. Looking forward to hearing about your feedback on this episode and the rest of the episodes to come. They're going to be great. Make sure you hit subscribe. Peace out. Take care. As always, Team Flynn for the win. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Smart Passive Income podcast at smartpassiveincome.com. I'm your host, Pat Flynn. Sound editing by Duncan Brown. Our senior producer is David Grabowski, and our executive producer is Matt Gartland. The Smart Passive Income podcast is a production of SPI Media and a proud member of the Entrepreneur Podcast Network. Catch you next week. Hey, fellow podcaster, does this sound like something you've experienced? You record your podcast episode on one platform, download the files, edit in another app, then fire up a different tool just to create these social clips? Well, it can be clunky, time-consuming, and frankly overwhelming, especially for creators trying to grow. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Riverside. Riverside is the all-in-one platform. Record, edit, and repurpose your podcast content all in one place. You just log in, record with your guests no matter where you are in the world, and just like that, studio-quality audio and high-resolution video. We use Riverside here at SPI as well now. With built-in AI, I can automatically clean up my audio, saving myself so much editing time, and it can even auto-generate clips to make promoting the show a breeze. And with Magic Clips, I can grab the best moments and repurpose them as short-form video, perfect for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, without re-recording a thing. So if you're tired of juggling tools and want a faster, simpler way to create and scale your content, it's time to try Riverside, built by creators for creators. Just go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. Have you dreamt about being your own boss, but still haven't made the first steps to making that dream a reality? Well, I get that. Starting a business can feel super overwhelming with legal forms, paperwork, finances. It's a lot. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Taylor Brands. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal assets and the business assets separate from day one. From there, you get access to everything you need to get off the ground. Legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program, all designed to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free, personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, listeners of this show get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. All you have to do is head to taylorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Taylor Brands.